Welcome back to another episode of Thermal Mermaid. Today we're going to talk about making labels for your DIY crafts, your soaps, your cosmetic bottles and jars. And if you're trying to take your hobby to a small business or your small business to a more sophisticated branded look with your products, you've probably been tinkering with your labels and packaging, and you've probably hit a few obstacles while you're learning how to do it yourself. Now in today's video, I'm going to talk to you about your packaging and your label creation and what you can do to get stellar looking labels in the easiest way possible while still doing it all from home to get the most professional quality look for your handmade items. Now when you start looking to create labels with your soap and your cosmetics, you quickly hit a few basic obstacles that we're going to solve in this video. Number one. Now, of course, the very best labels are going to be professionally printed from an easy online source like PrintRunner or Vistaprint, and they're not super expensive, but in order to get a reasonable price for soap labels, you're going to have to buy about 250. And maybe you don't want 250 labels of the exact same product with the exact same ingredients. Maybe you're just making a small batch for your local craft fair or your market, and you only want, say, 30 of one kind of soap before you want to make a different kind. But if you order 30 labels, they're going to cost you about 45 cents a piece. And that's not going to fly when what you're selling is a bar of soap. You need your labels to cost 2 to 3 cents a piece. Now, once you realize you need to keep that price down, you might decide that you'll design your own label on a website like Canva or maybe some custom print website, and then you'll just print that label off yourself. But then, after you spend all the time making your design, you learn that you have to pay to download the file, or maybe you can only send that file to the printmaker. You can't actually have that file for your computer, and even if you manage to get an image of that file, the resolution's not very good, the quality's not very good, and you can't manipulate it and play with that file and change it in another program. You're a little bit stuck. So this will eventually lead you to step number 3, where you find or you order some pre-made blank labels and open them in Photoshop or one of your editing software programs, and you do it all yourself from scratch, learning how to use Photoshop, then printing them out yourself, only to discover that what looks fine on your laptop prints out like a fuzz blurb on your label sheet, because now you have to learn how to set the resolution, the DPI, the print quality, and then you still have to fit that all into the size that you want. So unless you already know what you're doing, printing labels can actually be kind of a hard thing to do. Now, about 2 years ago, I made a video on this channel on how to create your own labels with pre-made files that you could download over at Thermal Mermaid. And what I discovered was that despite the fact that they came out fine for me, some people would contact me with quality issues when they tried them at home. And what happened was there are just too many things that can happen between downloading the template, editing them in your own software, printing them out, and then everyone can get a different result depending on their software, the computer that they're using, the quality of the paper that they're using. There are so many different variables that can affect the quality of the label that you're trying to create. So now I want to show you the solution that I've created to all these obstacles so that if you want to make DIY homemade labels, this is the way you can do it with a quality that's as close to professionally printed as you can possibly get and still make them at home, and do it all within that range of 2 to 3 cents per label. Okay, so the first thing that you need to know is that when you're working with an image file on your computer, in order to get it to print crisp and clear, you need to have the right resolution and size. Now, standard print quality is 300 DPI, that's dots per inch. And typically when you're looking at a web image, you're looking at something that's probably about 72 dots per inch. So when you try to print that, you'll see your picture just fine, but you won't have that crisp look to it. And if you change the size, forget about it. You've already distorted the pixels. So before you even start creating your image, if you're working in a program like Photoshop, you need to set up your canvas so that it will reflect 300 dots per inch. Now, you don't actually have to do all of that. I've already done that for you over in a new section in your Thermal Mermaid members dashboard. Now, you remember last month when I introduced some of the calculators that I was working on and I showed you the members tool page? Well, now we've got a new tool on that page, and if you look just below the calculators, you'll see a button for a label creator. So click on this button, and this is going to take you to a page with a layout for different size pre-made labels. And you can select whatever label size you want to create. They can be for soap, bottles, jars. Now the label size that I use for soap are typically 2 inches by 2 inches. So we're going to click on this one as an example. And here you'll be taken to a category of pre-made label templates that I've uploaded into this section. And each one of these have been specifically sized, and the resolutions are ready set to print quality. So all the work has already been done for you. Now you don't have to edit these blank labels on your computer. You can do everything right here on the interface in front of you. When you click on each label, you can customize everything that you want to put on your label right on the screen. You can put in your name brand, your ingredients, and you can even select a little icon, or you can upload your own logo and add that in there somewhere if you want to. Now once you're done, you can get instant access to download this directly to your computer. This does not cost anything, and you can make all the labels that you want. Now you only have access to this if you're a mermaid or a siren level member in the crafters community. But once you're a member there, there's no purchase, there's no checkout cart, there's no upsell. This is just a tool that's free to use as long as you're a member over in our crafters community. Now the software here is fully integrated, and you might end up needing a little bit of help on your first try, so I've created some pretty detailed tutorials on how to use this label creator. It will tell you how to get all the custom fonts. All the fonts that you see here are specialized for the label creator, so you'll need to know how to get access to them and how to actually get your label file placed on a sheet and ready to print. Now if you don't know how to do that, of course a lot of people will already have their methods. This isn't very difficult stuff. If you've been working with Office or Photoshop for a while, you may already know how to do that. But if you do need assistance in learning, or you need free software because you don't already have that on your computer, you can open up your files, you can make your DIY labels, and you can find that all in the tutorials that I've created in lesson 8.3 and 8.4. So this should be very seamless to use. So everything that you see here in the label creator and all those tutorials are going to get you past all of those other online label creators that make you pay for your designs or force you to buy them from their store only. The moment you create your label and save it here, you can instantly download it to your computer, open it up, and start editing it in pretty much any software that you choose. So this is completely free access, and it's much easier than anything else that you'll find online. Now once you have your label, the next thing you need to know is what you can control at home to get the best quality print. Now I cover this in all the tutorials as well, but the quality of your paper is going to make all the difference in the world. Now when you're making your soap labels, you want to make sure that you're using actual label paper or even sticker paper. This will come in white or clear, and with soap it's not so much important that the paper be waterproof because you're just opening the package one time. But if you're making a label that will stay on a bottle in a place where it may get wet or it may be exposed to moisture or humidity, you want to make sure that the paper is waterproof so that the ink doesn't bleed away while the bottle is being used. Nothing looks uglier when you have a handcrafted product that melts into a blur as soon as it gets wet. So you can maintain the integrity of your brand and the image that you want to project with your waterproof labels. And I'll just mention, the easiest way to find these labels, you can find them stocked over at Staples or any office supply store. Walmart may have them for you. Typically when you find them there, you're going to find something like a small package of 20 sheets for $15 to $18. Don't get tricked into that. You can find them on Amazon for 200 sheets for about $10 to $12. And this is going to bring your cost per label down, and that's really important. The next thing that might not be obvious is that you'll typically get a better print at home when you use an inkjet printer compared to a laser printer. Now that might be a surprise because laser printers are usually more expensive, but they use toner, and toner comes in 3 colors, 4 if you include the black, where if you use an Epson or a Canon ink printer, that's made for printing photos. And that uses a more sophisticated ink combination. So if you're using the right paper and a good photo printer, the labels that you'll find over here are already sized and formatted to give you the highest quality print for your home printing project. So the label creator has been launched. The tutorials are up over in lesson 8 of the course. If you need any help, you're free to go over there and use this as you please. If you have any questions or comments or even requests, please feel free to post in the forum so that everyone in the members community can learn from your questions about the software. Now before I go, you guys may have noticed a change over at the website at thermalmermaid.com. Don't worry, the page that you know and recognize is still there, so you can still get into your familiar login area. That's not going away. But I've separated the website into 2 parts. The first part is the Thermal Mermaid Marketplace, and the second part is the Crafters Community. That's where many of us have been gathering for the last few years, and you've been watching it grow and expand. That's over in the Crafters Community, where you can sign up to become a mermaid or siren level member. And the marketplace is where you can purchase many of our members' DIY products that will be presented there for other shoppers when they come across Thermal Mermaid. So I do have a big announcement coming up this week for this change, and I'll be explaining more about that to all of you very shortly. Now, this was created as a solution to obstacles other soap makers were experiencing, and I wanted to explain that all together in the next video. So if you've been trying to launch your soap making business and you just need a little bit of help getting started, I'm going to discuss what some of those obstacles might be for beginners and how we can solve those for you. So be sure to tune into the next video, and for all you mermaids out there, have fun with your new label creator.